Hi everyone. In this opportunity, we are going to discuss about relative clause, or we can also say an adjective clause. What's relative clause? Relative clause is a clause that explains or modifies a noun or pronoun. To construct a relative clause, there are several connectors that we can use. Each connector has different function, which is used to explain things. Connector that is used to explain people or things, while connector who or whom is used for people. Connector whose is used for possession or kepemilikan. Connector when is used for time, while the last connector where is used for place. We'll see the example from each connector in the following slide. Well, please pay attention to the example. Look at the first example. In the first example, there are two sentences. The first sentence says, "The coat is expensive." The second sentence says, "I bought it yesterday." I want you to find the similarity or the same thing from each sentence. What is it? Yeah, so the same thing from each sentence can be found on the word with red color. For the first sentence, we have the word coat, while in the second sentence, we have pronoun it. It in the second sentence refers to the word coat. So, these two sentences can be combined by using relative clause. How is it? It says, "The coat that or which I bought yesterday is expensive." Or in Bahasa, actually we can translate the connector that or which with yang, karena menjelaskan kata sebelumnya. So we can translate the sentence into, "Jas yang saya beli kemarin mahal." Why did I use connector that or which in that example? Because what we explained in this relative clause is thing. Code is a thing. So we use connector that or which. And then, which one is the relative clause from this sentence? The relative clause is that or which I bought yesterday. So, like I explained earlier, relative clause modifies or explain the word before. And relative clause always consists of connector. Do you understand? Of course you do. Well, let's continue to the next example. There are two sentences. The first sentence is, "Some firefighter never meet the people." The second sentence says, "They save the people." Which ones are similar from each sentence? Yep, the word in red color. The people in the first sentence and the people in the second sentence. So, how do we combine these sentences into relative clause? Okay, first we need to know thing that we want to combine here is person. So, we can use connector who or whom. It becomes some firefighters never meet the people whom they save. Para pemadam kebakaran tidak pernah bertemu dengan orang-orang yang mereka selamatkan. So, which one is the relative clause? Relative clause always consists of connector. The connector here is whom. Therefore, the relative clause is whom they save. Whom they save explained the word before, that is the people. The people here is person, so we use connector whom. Well, let's continue. The next example, the first sentence says, a waiter served us. The second sentence says, she was very impolite. So, what are the similarities from each sentence? A waiter and she. The sentence become a waiter who served us was very impolite. Seorang pelayan yang melayani kami sangat tidak sopan. Which one is the relative clause? Who served us. Who served us explained a waiter. Waiter is a person. So, we use connector who. So, what's the difference between connector who and whom? Both of them are used for people. Usually, we use connector whom when it is followed with subject and verb. For example, the firefighter never meet the people whom they save. Whom they save. After whom, we have subject they and then verb save. It is different with the use of who as the connector. A waiter who served us was very impolite. After connector who, we find verb only, no subject. So that's the difference when to use connector who and when to use connector whom, although those two connectors are used for people. Well, let's go on to the next example. Sentence 1 says, I met a girl. Sentence 2 says, her passport was stolen. So, if we want to combine these two sentences using relative clause, it will says, saya bertemu seorang gadis yang pasportnya dicuri. Yang pasportnya. Di situ menunjukkan adanya kepemilikan pasportnya. Kepemilikan in English is possession. So, the sentence becomes, I met a girl whose passport was stolen. Saya bertemu seorang perempuan yang paspornya dicuri. So, whose passport is the relative clause that explained a girl. And then, for the relative clause, we don't need to use pronoun her anymore. Her is already replaced with whose, which has possessive meaning. Okay. The next example. Sentence 1 says, the summer was hot and long. Sentence 2 says, I graduated from university in the summer. What's the similarity from each sentence? Yes, it is the word summer. Summer indicates time, certain time. It's a season. So, let's connect the two sentences using relative clause. It becomes the summer when I graduated from university was hot and long. So, the relative clause from this sentence is when I graduated from university. When I graduated from university is a relative clause that explains the summer. Okay. And then the last example, the first sentence says, the hotel wasn't very clean. Sentence 2 says, we stayed there. What's the similarity from each sentence? The answer is the word, the hotel, and there. There in the second sentence refers to the word, the hotel. The hotel is indicating place, so we use connector where. If you still remember, at the first slide, I said that connector where is used to explain about the place. So the sentence becomes, the hotel where we stayed wasn't very clean. Hotel di mana kami tinggal tidak bersih. After the word stayed, we don't need to use the word there anymore. Why? Because we already replaced there with connector where. Alright, that's all about relative clause. Do you understand? If you're still confused and have some questions about this topic, feel free to ask in the forum. Okay, let's have a practice. I need you to complete the sentences using the correct connector. Number 1. The first person blah 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 used the new glasses was a man in Ghana. We need connector to explain the first person. Person. So we have two options. If it is not who, whom. But let's see what comes after the connector. It is the verb used. So we use who. Very good. The next sentence. Tim Berners-Lee is the man blah 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 invented the World Wide Web. We need a connector to explain the word the man. Man is person. Let's see what comes after the connector. Invented. Invented is also a verb, so we use connector who. Or that is also possible because that can be used for person or thing. And then number 3, Silver started an organization, blah blah blah, is called the Center for Vision in the Developing World. We need connector that explain the word organization. Organization is a thing. So we use connector which or that. Next, number 4. This is the room, blah blah blah, he invented it. We need a connector to explain the word the room. The room is a thing. So we use connector which or where, because where is location. This is the room where he invented it. Ini adalah ruangan di mana dia menemukannya. And then the next number 5, Bill Gates is a billionaire, blah blah blah, company is Microsoft. Bill Gates adalah seorang milioner yang perusahaannya adalah Microsoft. Di situ ada unsur kepemilikan yang perusahaannya. So, to talk about possession, we use connector whose. Okay. And the last one. The answer is when. It was last week when we visited the Apple store. Last week indicates time. Therefore, we need connector when. Alright everyone, I get that's all for our topic today. So, hopefully you can understand well. See you in another meeting. Bye bye.